Welcome to today's morning report. Chart proposals on Thursday, the 17th of September, with me, Rich Perry, market analyst at Tech Markets. Let's move on to sterling dollar now, and we've just had out the UK retail sales, and they pretty much, there was a slight miss of expectations on the adjusted year-on-year data, down to 3.5%. 3.9% was the expectation, but still, I think that the that sort of sets cable up fairly solidly going into the FOMC tonight. You've seen a slight there was a slight gain on cable after on the announcement of that data, and it's just started to come off a bit. The initial support comes in at 54, sort of 54.80 really, which on this hourly chart is pretty much around about the breakout levels of these old highs. Your initial support. I don't think that's going to be really what you'd be looking out for today, because I think the market's going to be looking at bigger picture stuff. That means the Fed. Now, what could the Fed do? Fed could hike, and if the Fed hikes, then I think you're going to see a sell-off. Initially, the support comes in at 53.25, which is these sort of reaction lows. That old low there, 53.30, you'd argue, but 53.25 was the actual low last couple of days. And that could be tested on a Fed rate hike. But I think bigger picture, I think the market is fairly solidly trading range still. It's basically bang in the middle of that trading range, isn't it? And the strong UK wages growth yesterday would suggest that the UK is sort of on a similar path to the Fed still. There's no real suggestion that it isn't. Certainly the outlook for cable is fairly neutral medium term, so I think we get a rate hike. You may see cable back towards the lows of the range ultimately, and then start to stabilise again as the market looks towards the UK possibly following suit. So I don't think it would be a sustained move lower if there were to be a rate hike. Any sort of failure to hike would presumably give cable a boost. And initially the resistance comes in around these sort of old lows of 53.30. Sorry, 55.30. Sorry, my fault. 55.30 is the initial line of resistance, but then you sort of look a bit higher towards 56.60 area, 56. Sort of back to where we were in late July, early August, where we were finding that resistance around 56.60 to 56.90. So those are the levels that could be tested on the upside if we see a no rate hike, which is increasingly likely. And I think that the way the cable is moving, certainly yesterday, and holding on to those gains today, would suggest that we're still sort of in a more of a mindset that cable will be pulling higher on no rate hike. So that seems to be the way that cable's positioned ahead of the data, but who knows what could happen this afternoon or this evening. And I wish you good luck in your trading, and I will speak to you later. Thank you.